Hey, I'm your host, Wes.
And I'm your host, Scott.
Come on in and grab a seat.
Because you're hanging with us at the barbershop.
What is up, sir?
Hey!
Oh,
good
me
to
and
see
you. I don't know. It's like you're coming in from like a stranger in a strange land.
That's right. I'm a strange little boy in my basement.
At least it's your basement and not
instead of my mother's.
Right on.
I'm in my mom's basement.
So, for those of you who are joining us on the video version of Hanging at the Barbershop, you may notice something looks different. Well, it's January 2022. This is our first episode of Hanging at the Barbershop for the year. I hope you guys had a great holiday season, had a wonderful new year. Thought we'd kick this one off with a bang. We're back with 2022's first episode of Cold Ones.
Isn't that a great way to celebrate the new year?
Well, I look at it this way. It's a great way to celebrate that we're on the verge of getting locked down again.
I've seen some memes and it's like lockdown number 5.
What is it now? We're on year 3 of 2 weeks to flatten the curve.
Yeah. I mean, right? Definitely this time around, I feel like, in the past, we didn't know anyone that had a positive test. And now we've got
no. I don't think
work. We've got acquaintances that we know that have tested positive, and it's interesting. It's much closer to home for sure this time around. So
big time. I mean, the transmissibility of this latest variant, the Omicron variant, what is it now? The colloquial or the small talk is pretty much everyone's going to get it at some point.
Right.
But the severity is supposedly much less.
Like a cold.
And here's where I struggle, because I'm the type of person who, like, for years, I always said, like, I would get one cold a year, but it would last for 12 months. You know what I mean? Like, I have since learned that, hey, there's this thing called seasonal allergies that can flare up at weird times. So, I mean, if this is any indication, left nostril, right nostril, like there's never a day where anything is clear.
No, I've come to that conclusion that I'm a snotty-nosed little kid like the rest of my right? But I would tell you, congestion is much more steady, but I don't have like bad allergies in the spring anymore.
No.
But consistently, I'm not ever not congested.
Yeah, for me, it's all the time. Like normally, I would actually take on days that we do the show, I would take a decongestant. Certainly not when we're drinking, because, whoo, everybody likes a little pseudoephedrine buzz.
Yeah,
a pseudoephedrine beer. Woo!
Figure that out. I don't know why my heart is racing.
No idea. Why am I sweating? And it's like a balmy, 18 degrees in here.
Did you have the sweats the day after New Year's?
The day after New Year's, I have to say, I got up at no particular time. I did not, I went to bed with a bit of a headache, where I actually said, I wonder if I should take some Tylenol, but I didn't. I think I had a late night snack, a little sandwich or something before I went to bed. And then I woke up and I'm like, headache is gone. I'm a little dry, but otherwise I feel pretty good.
That's good.
And then I had my first bowel movement of the day. And that turned into 3 more. I don't know what happened.
Just rum that night.
2 beers to start, and then switched over to rum and carried that on through the rest of the night. So
you had some good laughs at the end of the night.
Oh my Lord. I have not had a how do you describe that? It was a
uncontrollable.
I couldn't speak.
You couldn't breathe.
I could barely breathe. And here's the thing, right? They say never laugh at another man's misfortune, but when you are telling a story of how you injure yourself
My
and then
misfortune, you can
yeah,
laugh.
by misfortune, and then you decide I'm going to drive myself to the hospital, whatever it was, I just thought that was the funniest thing going.
Right? I can't believe in the time that we've known each other, that's the first time you'd heard that story. And
I
I'm
think
like,
everybody has a story where they've injured themselves in some way that they perceive to be stupid, and then they don't think much of it. Like they don't take it
"No."
as serious as maybe they should.
But yeah, it's certainly interesting. To me, you had a great time. It's funny though, we were watching somebody else laugh uncontrollably.
Yes.
I don't think you saw the humor in those clips we were
I
watching.
couldn't figure it out. I'm like, I even said we're watching what is it? We're watching Bert Kreischer.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
Bert and Tom, Two Bears, One Cave.
And I mean Bert gets going on this laugh, and I turn to you because I know you're a much bigger Bert fan than I am. And I said, is that real? This laugh. And you're like, oh yeah, it's real. And then I'm like, that can't be real. But no, it is.
And
And
20
then
minutes later,
whatever.
you're falling
Oh
apart.
my God. And then Kim is looking at me and she said, you don't believe that his is real, but you laugh exactly like him. I'm like, I didn't know that. How was I to know that it was going to come out that way?
Oh, wow, that's yeah. I had a great time and
It
felt
was
pretty good the next morning.
it was painful in the immediate after because it was like, oh my God, now my muscles can relax and I can actually take a full breath. It took me a while to recover.
Yeah. Oh, it's funny, right? And I mean, we've had a few laughs like that here, and
My gosh.
it's good. It's good. So, speaking of laughs,
Yeah.
tonight we're gonna drink sours, Wes.
Oh, now you see, the only thing that's funny about that is you know how much I'm not gonna like this.
Maybe you'd be surprised.
Oh
I've been a firm believer that isn't this helpful to somebody else that doesn't like sours or isn't sure about
man,
sours, and we're gonna tell them what the best one is
earlier in the
for a
day,
discerning palate like yours.
you did a little porch drop off and you handed me the paper bag and I'm like, okay, thank you, and I'll catch you later. And then I immediately went upstairs and I put them in the fridge. And then as I was taking them out, getting ready for the show, I pulled this bottle out and I mean, I don't know. I mean, this isn't the first one we're gonna drink, but like, I don't know if that shows well on camera, but like there's something in there. It's kind of sediment like. I
Yeah,
don't
but
know
you
if
know what?
that's whatever it is.
It
It poured
pours
nicely.
fairly clear.
Oh, look at you. You're all classed up. I'm going right from the can tonight.
Well, I was gonna say, usually we are splitting a beer, and
I,
now
full
being in
beers.
2
Certainly,
locations, you have
um,
4 full beers in front of you.
that's not happening.
No.
I'd be lucky if I get through a few sips of each.
You know
So
what? I'll get a sip of everything, and if there's one I actually like, maybe I'll finish it.
yeah, that's fair. All right. You want to kick this one off?
Sure.
What are
So,
we doing first there?
first of all, I'll give you the little Wikipedia on sours here. So,
Ooh.
unlike modern brewing, which is done in a sanitary environment to guard against the intrusion of wild yeast, historically, the starter used from one batch to another usually contained some wild yeast and bacteria. Sour beers are made by intentionally allowing wild yeast strains or bacteria into the brew, traditionally through the barrel or during the cooling of the wort in the cool ship opened to outside air. So they're letting shit fall into your beer to make it sour.
Oh boy. Yep, that sounds about right.
But and it's interesting as you some of these were picked up at the brewery. And the one the second beer, Daft,
Yep.
um, it's in Kingston. It's an open kind of air. So, you know,
Well,
the
I'm not gonna
counter
lie.
the
I'm
counter
looking.
space is open to the brew floor. And you
Oh,
walk in, and I think they like sours or they're leaning towards sours, and you walk
okay.
into that brewery, and
Yep.
it
It hit
hits
you.
you in the face, and you're like, "Whew."
I'm looking at I've got the four of them lined up here in front of me, and I'll be honest with you, like I've never. I mean, okay, Fenland. I mean, Fenland is a staple of the show. I mean,
Yep.
they're 20 minutes down the road, so I mean, and they have a very consistent look across their product. So yes, but I have never seen any of these other ones
No,
ever. So,
and you might never again.
with the explosion of craft breweries in Canada, I think there's a good chance that it'll just get replaced by something else equally as questionable.
So, yeah. So number one is the passion fruit guava
Goes. Yeah.
So, as we're seasoned beer drinkers, we're starting with the one that has a 4.1 alcohol by volume.
This one says it's an East German historical stool Stule, not the kind that comes out of your butt. East German historical stool mixed with new age fruit, salty, sour, and tart with batural, passion fruits, and guava flavors.
And we know
Right.
you love guava.
Well, we're getting all of our information tonight from untapped.com. If you can check untapped.com to find out all your.
It's actually a pretty cool website.
Yeah,
From
it's got
from an app perspective, it kind of looks like you have to sign up, but
sure.
you on the computer,
Yeah.
it's more accessible.
Passion Fruit Guava Ghost has 23 ratings. It has, as you said, it's a 4.1% alcohol by volume, has a 7 on the IBU, has a total of a 3.78 out of 5 based on 23 ratings. You ready to give this one a go? Oh boy. I got to open my can. It's me cracking one tonight here. Oh, there it is.
Careful. I found it foamy again.
It's slowly rising to the mouth of the can, but it is not.
Like all their beers seem to have that.
Oh, here it comes. Yep. It's coming over the top now.
It's got a nice
it does have a nice note.
Bouquet. I guess that would be the passion fruit.
I do, yeah. I like the smell of that.
Not too dark. No floaties.
No. Yeah, I can't tell from the can. It looks pretty opaque to me. All right, here we go.
Well, Wes, cheers.
First one of 2022, buddy. Here we go. Oh, pucker power.
Right from the get-go.
Yep.
Kind of at the back end, though, where you expect it to be.
No, man. As soon as I put it in, it was like I could feel my cheeks closing in.
From the tip of your tongue,
yeah,
to your tonsils.
Yeah, I'll confirm. I'll take another haul and we'll confirm it.
And that sour kind of hangs on at the back. It's not bad.
What do you have with that? What do you have with a sour beer?
And this is, I didn't do enough research to be, is this just something you sip and eat peanuts with?
I don't know.
Or I can't see down, right? None of these would be something you would sit down and have 4 or 5.
No, I don't think so.
That in. Let it out.
I didn't want to be so rude to our audience that I was burping in their ear or in their face for those of you who are watching. Some of us have some class here.
Oh, I was going to say you could probably edit it out or convert it with a fancy button.
It is true. We are not going live. So,
yeah.
According to the Google machine says that spicy foods, anything spicy like fajitas or chili, complements the flavor of sour beers. Fatty cuts of beef. The richness of a fatty cut of beef, like a ribeye, goes well with a lighter taste of a sour beer.
Well, there you go. Thank you, Google.
Oh, there it is. I'm sorry. I am so sorry.
Wasn't terrible.
You plowed through that pretty good.
Like I have a different palate, obviously. That's now that doesn't have the bitterness of like an IPA.
No.
But I mean, so many IPAs have got that citrus kick to them that sort of reminds me of that.
I will say one thing. one thing about Fenland, um, and this one even more so than the other flavors that we've had, they really do pack in an awful lot of bubbles.
Yeah.
And I don't just mean like the foamy kind.
No,
I just mean like the level of carbonation in there.
is over the top.
And I
Like,
like
right?
a.
We've had beers just on regular episodes, and you like, right? You take a
You
sip, and you
wonder,
can
is it
see
flat?
that head come out of the can. And you got to like
Yeah,
sip it away.
yeah.
But yeah, I don't know if that's just something in their process or
I
it's
like
in the
a
hops or the yeast they're using.
I like a fair amount of carbonation in my beer. You know what? I didn't even do. I didn't even put it up, did I? There
There
you
it is.
go. For the viewing audience, that is the flavor that we're trying tonight. I guess you know what? We can always go this way too. Like there it is. The passion fruit guava goss. All right, man. I will admit, as much as I'm not a fan of sour beers, I did not get the taste of passion fruit. So
No,
no,
something there.
was there? I didn't get that. I certainly got all the other citrusy flavors that are packed in there with it, but I did not really get the passion fruit coming or the guava coming through.
No, the guava, I'd say no.
All right.
Like I can smell it for sure. Maybe I don't know what passion fruit tastes like.
Yeah. I don't know.
My undistinguished palate.
All right, man. So
Uh,
here we are at the beginning of 2022. As we look back, I know we didn't get a chance this year. We did not have an opportunity to sit down and do a year in review like we did last year. Man, there's a few things we didn't get to. We didn't get to 2021's round of champions. We didn't get to
no,
do
but
that.
again, this will help that because we have already decided that Seltzer War does not get, even though we had a champion,
It
it's
does
not a
not
fair.
constitute. It can't be. It's apples and oranges, man.
So the champion of this will return
Oh,
in right because this is the fourth beer we've had.
that's true.
So we had the original cold ones,
Yeah,
um, which was biscuity. That was your beer box.
that's right. Yeah,
Then we had Battle of the IPAs.
we did.
Um,
Then we did cervezas,
oh, thank you, cervezas, and now sours.
and now sours. Okay, well that's fair. And
So
again,
that
it's funny. They're all beers, but when you're saying them back like that, do they not sound like they're all apples and oranges too? That's going
to
to be an
me, it'll be
interesting.
very interesting that if you sit down with four different beers,
I think so as well.
how fast you gravitate to what you like.
I mean, can you see go all the way back to like episode 1 or Cold Ones 1 and go like the Prince of Darkness? Do you think that's going to stand up against, Old Dog Chihuahua?
Right? It is. It's an apple and an orange. You're getting like
Yeah,
this
yeah.
super dark, heavy, biscuity beer
Yeah, yeah,
versus a
yeah, yeah.
light, um, you know, yeah. I guess it had we put lime in it, but it had a taste
We
of
did,
lime
yeah.
too,
Well,
right?
they all of the cervezas had citrusy kind of notes
Yeah.
in them anyway.
But no, for sure. It's interesting. I can't complain about any of them. There's none I'd say I'd never drink again.
Okay.
So,
I don't know if I can make that claim.
uh, but now drink two back to back,
Yeah.
maybe not.
Again, I'm looking at the pairings here and I'm thinking maybe that's the way to get through them is to have it with a meal.
Right. Well, so much, right? Because we've never really done that.
No, I don't know. Is that something that, for you guys that have been following along for the last year or so, like, is that something that we should be doing? Should we be doing this in a dinner setting? Should we be doing pairings?
So that's awesome. I'll supply the beer and you can
And I'll
supply
bring
the
the
meal.
food. Great. So I'm out. How much on the ribeyes?
Oh, yeah, we get small ones, or we could share one.
Screw you. You're getting cans of fucking chili.
And you
Stag.
got the ribeye.
Canned
Enjoy your
stag
bean.
chili. If you're lucky, I'll
Uh,
warm it up for you.
but no, I feel like December was a blur this year. As you said, we didn't get to sit down and do
November,
a holiday
December.
episode. But
No, and poor Andy's in the corner, and he's pushing us, going like, "Hey guys, we should do something." And we're like, "Yeah, we really should." And push come to shove, and we were just like, "Oh."
well, that's exactly right, and it's getting a time, and this setup here in my basement, and it's still not really where I wanted it to be either. So
Dude, you have the best off-white background I've ever seen.
thanks. It's nice and consistent.
Yeah, of course it is.
I've reclaimed a little bit of the garage, so hopefully I have a construction project I wanted to do to add some color to the back wall.
I
But it's
was just gonna
interesting
say,
too
as I'm
with
sitting here looking at it, I don't see a white wall. I see a blank canvas. What can we do with it?
yeah. But yeah, it's that. And it's, this is much more zoomed in than I thought it would be. I still got to play around with it, and is the wider shot where you'd actually see more. In theory, there's another couch
Yep.
over there, so again, camera angle will change if I have a guest, where it's kind of looking more.
Of course, necessity would dictate.
Would dictate what?
That you would have to change. Yeah, I mean, the situation would.
Yeah, the angle, right? For sure.
Of course.
So, and then it just lots to think about.
I've done what, half a dozen shows now here in the cave, and this is actually the first one that I've done where I haven't used the dual camera setup. So
right.
Usually it's Andy's riding sort of side saddle here with me. So this is the first time it's just been me here in the cave, and I'm quite I quite like it.
Yeah, it's been a good setup for you, right? You took a lot of time to figure out your lighting and all
I'm still thinking about that. I'm still thinking about it.
Well, it's funny too, because I shut off the light for the space and just had the ring lights on, and then
sure,
a little too dark.
Yeah,
but
I think if you have your overheads on and you set up some of your ring lighting for key lighting and you dial it in, obviously that's all going to change. As soon as you put something on the wall, it's going to change the tone of the room, and then you're going to have to reset all that anyway. So
it's funny too, and
I'm pretty exposed here.
Yeah, it's interesting too from the perspective of the depth and the way that the setup is, where I think you can almost reach every light that you've got. Well,
I could touch the light. I could not touch the control for it because of the switch is way up near the plug-in.
Yeah, and I couldn't reach out and touch anything other than myself.
You heard it here first, ladies and gentlemen. Reach out and touch yourself.
But that won't reach out and touch someone. But that won't happen. So I digress.
All right, where are we at now?
Beer number two. Lemon Tree.
This is from the Daft Brewing Company. Is that right? Daft?
That's right. From Stone City. Is that right? Kingston?
Where are they at? Kingston.
Wait
a minute.
That not the nickname?
Is there two? There's two here. Wait. How many of these are from like the Kingston area?
We've had I want to say River Run, but it's not River Run.
The Lake of the Mountain?
It's further. It's not Kingston. It's closer to Belleville.
Oh, so that's closer to home. Okay, so still Eastern Ontario.
It is.
Okay, that's cool.
So it came in a big ass bottle.
Oh yeah, the Daft. It sure as hell did.
Yeah. So it's a lemon tea sour, a sour beer made with lemon zest, black tea, and lactose milk sugar.
That's the part that gets me. I don't know if that's a normal part of the brewing process.
I think, like I said, there's a few different beers that do that, and I think it gives it maybe a little bit more of a creaminess.
Sure.
So just on the Untapped app for
I'm
Ryan,
just reading it now. Yeah.
This beer is an absolute crush fest. Best enjoyed in the sun under
an umbrella, I think.
Maybe you'll find the beer disappear like another blank after you crush it. So,
because you will.
I mean, iced tea, if it has a stronger iced tea or
Yes.
a lemon tea kind of thing, I can see where that would be.
I do like a good, like heavy lemon flavor in my iced tea.
And
So
then this one was the just a regular 5 alcohol by volume
5 ABV, 10
and 10
IBU.
IBU.
All right. Well,
And has a rating of what, 3.93.
based on 43 ratings from Untapped. All right. Well, I find this one is easier on the nose. It's not as overwhelming.
Would you not? When I smell that, I smell iced tea.
There is some of that in there. There's something else in there too. All right. Cheers to you, sir.
Cheers.
That's somewhere between oh my god, it's almost like fucking laundry water.
It hits different,
doesn't it?
Second sip's better than the first.
Yep. Isn't that funny though? Going back to the carbonation thing that we were talking about, how much less bubbles there are in this one.
How's it out of the bottle?
It's not bad.
If you tipping it back, has it loosened any of the sediment in the bottom?
Well, here's the thing. I gave it hours ago, shortly after you dropped it off. I gave it a shook. I shook it up a bit and I put it in the fridge on its side. So hopefully, trying to, whatever was in there that had settled, I wanted to sort of get it moving again.
Right.
And it seems to have done the trick. Like there is a definite, you can't tell through the camera here, but there is a definite haze. There is there is a consistent cloud in here. Yeah, I'm way cloudier than that. Now it could just be, maybe I can pour some in my coffee cup. I don't know if that'll make a difference, but yeah, even on the pour into my mug, it's definitely cloudy.
So mine might still all be on the bottom of the.
It very well could be.
Now, for when we're talking, like this is a sour. Yep. Would you say it? Is it one pucker or two puckers?
Well, Fenland was like is our pucker scale on a 5 or a 10 scale? Because we got to quantify that first.
Or a 5.
On a 5 scale, the Fenland was like a solid 3.5 or a 4 pucker.
Right.
And the first sip of the lemon tree maybe was a bit of a cleanser, because the subsequent sips, they're sitting at like a 2.
Right.
I find it to be far less sour.
More tea. For sure, I can taste the tea.
Yeah. As somebody who is not a fan of sours, I would say that this one is okay. Yeah, that one's okay. All right, what's the craziest thing that happened to you in 2021?
I'm terrible at this game.
You got nothing?
I didn't hurt myself. I didn't get in a car accident. I didn't get any tickets.
That's bad juju. We start talking about that stuff.
I don't think anything really bizarre. I'd have to wait until Facebook told me next year. But I don't know. Like, I think I cut my leg. I cut my leg at axe throwing.
Oh no!
Because I had a just how I walked back to my table.
Yep.
And then and just nicked my short, put a cut in my short and a cut in my leg.
You just had that the perfect angle.
Right angle. I'd sharpened the axe that night and just caught the corner.
Sure.
I was I'm like, oh, I cut my shorts. And
yeah,
then they're like, you cut yourself, as like there's a trickle of blood going down my knee. I'm like, I didn't do that here. I don't need to fill out a form.
Oh, that's horrible.
But
But it didn't stop you.
No.
That's good.
How about you?
Wow. Weirdest thing that happened to me. It was so subdued this year.
Well,
I don't
right.
even know where to begin.
I mean, you figure from a retail perspective, I think we were
Yeah.
talking, we were shut for 15 weeks.
Well, I've been shut a
So
lot
if
longer than that because
retail's
I just
shut,
have no
you were shut. I mean, right,
motivations in my
so many,
boots.
yeah, so many of the things that you do,
Yeah.
um, right? It's like, oh, well, you couldn't go to the movies, you couldn't go to dinner, you couldn't go out, you couldn't go.
Yeah.
So, I mean, how do you have a good time? How do you, and then even if you could go to a restaurant early on, it's like, oh, you have to do it with your bubble. You have to do it with your
Oh yeah,
residential
yeah, yeah,
bubble.
yeah, yeah.
So then you couldn't even we couldn't go out to dinner together when it first opened because I think we wanted to do that like last March.
We
There was an
did.
opening, and then they're like, "Oh, about it's just you and your household." And I'm like, "No, there's
Yeah,
another
yeah,
people."
yeah.
Well, no, you can't
No,
do
we
that.
can't do that. Yeah. And
And
now we can't do it again anyway.
yeah, be interesting to see where we're at with that. And I mean, right, we've got we've got tickets next week.
Oh my lord. So I mean, anybody who had an event. Now you're going to Vancouver, so I mean, have you been following what's going on in British
Yeah,
Columbia?
they're 50% capacity, but I got a notification yesterday that says, I have an upcoming event. So
Uh-huh.
there's been no cancellation through Ticketmaster.
No. And I mean,
So
certainly you would get, I mean, have you been following his? You're going to see, just for everybody,
I'm gonna go
for
see
the,
Bert.
yeah, you're going to go see Burt Kreischer perform live in Vancouver. And I mean, at least on his, I mean, you follow him pretty
Yeah, yeah,
extensively,
yeah.
so
But
he's had
I don't
no,
think he ever mentions if he's can't. I think he says he's canceled shows or can't, but
sure,
right, he doesn't talk about it a whole lot. And I
interesting.
mean,
Yeah.
in America, I
Yeah.
mean, they haven't worried about this in months and months and months.
It can
And
take
then
a lot
there's still
to
tons
want
of
to,
social distancing, but from their perspective, there's enough space from the stage to them. They don't do any
yeah,
meet and greets after the show, so they're not worried.
no. Well, I mean, we've got, okay, so in 2021, after what, almost 3 years of not being able to, I've hit this point where it's like I need to start living my life, as if like life is going to continue, and we've just got to learn how to get on with it. So we take the chance, and we book our first vacation in nearly
Yep.
3 years, and now here we are, and I'm like, did
On the
I
cusp
make the
of
wrong
what are we
choice?
doing again?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. But I've also said that at this point, nothing short of a federal, the borders are closed, is going to stop me at this time.
And
You
they're
know,
not going to do that.
I don't think they are either, and I am willing to. The on the risk assessment, it's mitigated, and you know, I'm willing to take that risk. I'm willing to take that risk so that I can have a slice of something that feels better than this.
Some vitamin D
Yeah.
from south of the equator.
Yes. Well, I guess technically I'm still in the north. Am I still in the northern hemisphere? Mexico? Mexico, where are they? Northern? South? I don't
I
know.
got to look at a map.
Closer to the equator than we are now.
Yeah.
So that's kind of been like, oh, what do we do? What do we do? We did spend like a bit of extra money to make sure that we got cancellation this time. So something comes up, if we have to, if one of us gets sick, we can cancel up to 24 hours before and still get a full refund minus the processing fees. So
They got that all figured out, don't they?
they do now. I mean, let's be realistic here in Canada. I mean, how many of the airlines got a bailout in 2021?
All of them?
All of them. Yeah. So, yeah. And of course the big merger, that everybody talked about, the Transat Air Canada thing fell through, and Air Canada did not buy the company. So they definitely needed it. And we got our money back finally about the one that we,
And I mean that was government forced.
yep.
So I
Yeah,
mean,
pretty
right?
much. Yeah. But here we are. I'm ready to do it again, and this time, I'm like I said, I'm going through with it.
No matter, yeah,
Yeah, pretty much.
right. You're gonna go. You're gonna have a great time.
Yep.
Um, you're gonna come home, and whether you're sick from down there or sick, right? And then you're just gonna chill out at home until
And then
you're
sit in my
you're
house
just,
until I'm allowed to leave again.
yeah.
Yeah, more or less.
And then you got like right all of February to feel better.
Yeah, I do.
And then yeah, right. We're gonna try to do some stuff in March and see what's going on with that.
Yeah, so I mean, again, talking about tickets, let's see, what was it last year? It was 2 years. I think it's 2 years ago now. Is it even? Maybe it's even more than that.
3.
You and I and our ladies went to see Jeff Dunham. And so Jeff Dunham is going out on tour again. I think he's on tour now, to be honest with you, but is coming back to our local area. And so now I had picked up tickets for all of us to go see him again. And so now, it's still, that's in March. But even now, I'm like, well, I wonder what it's going to be like. What's the conditions going to be in March? Are we going to be sitting, all masked up, elbow to elbow, which I'm sure we will.
I can't see that you go to anything and not wear a
Not.
mask.
Yeah. 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 That might just be the way
I mean, that's when we
forever.
went to go see the movies the other day, and that was the first time you'd had to wear
Yeah.
a mask.
Well,
You've gone back to the theater?
I would say that that's the first time that it was enforced, but it's like being in a restaurant. You can take your mask off at your table when you're eating, right? So you could take your mask off in the theater when you were eating, but nobody hoovers a bag of popcorn for 2 hours straight. Like, at the same time, are you going to lift your mask up every time you stick your greasy fingers in a bucket? Do you know what I mean? Like,
Yep.
so you look around and you're like, hey, these other guys aren't wearing their mask. And, oh, I guess I can take mine off too.
Well, as you say, and they're doing a good job with the spacing in the theater, right? There's
They
nobody around.
were, they absolutely were. But then when they lifted, let's see, there you go. Our provincial government, when they lifted the venue limits, that was out the window, and so suddenly you had people packed in around you again.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
I wasn't
so
sure if that had so that
no,
did get lifted.
it did get lifted. Yeah, I mean, sporting venues, and yeah, in theaters, the indoor capacity limits, they were lifted for a while there. So early on, when the movie theaters reopened, yes, there was social distancing between like packets of people, right? But no, not for the last one that we went to see. Anyway, it'll be interesting to see how that goes. I'm still looking forward to it, and like I say, glass half full. Everything is going to go on like there's nothing wrong. So
Can you imagine? So if they went 50% capacity and the
okay,
venue sold out,
well,
what half gets to go?
we're talking a minor league hockey arena. So what, 3,000 seats?
Sure.
I think. I don't even know.
Because
That doesn't even include the
seats on
floor.
the floor.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Man, I don't know. I don't
Like
know.
that's what I'm like, right?
Does the
BC went
artist does the artist put on a second show? Like he's not make they're like he's not going to make the money. I'm
no.
going to perform for half of you on Tuesday night and then the other half of you on Wednesday night. Like that's not going to work.
I don't know. I mean, I don't know what the turnaround or I mean, ticket sales are ticket sales,
Yeah.
but I mean, what incurred cost does he have to come to the venue and spend another day there or do
Man, I
a
don't know.
late show and an early show? And then they just have to figure out what they're cleaning
In between.
right?
Yeah, yeah.
Everything
Not
gets
that I'd ever want to be involved in that.
no. But yeah. But that's I'm because BC has gone to 50% capacity.
Yeah, yeah.
And we're going to Queen Victoria Theater.
Yep.
And we're row 18 in the orchestra, so we're fairly
Oh, you're
forward
close.
facing.
Yeah, yeah, you're relatively close.
But yeah, like who do you fuck over?
But it's not up to you. That's the problem, is it's not up to you. You're just sort of, it's the luck of the draw. What do you
Or
do?
if the venue's not sold out, do they start spacing people out?
I
Or
don't
do they
know.
go with
Maybe.
another like most of these venues will have alternate seating plans. So do they go with a bigger seating plan and all of a sudden space out people and be like,
Yeah,
well,
yeah.
in this seating plan, we went from 3,600 to 6,000, and now we're gonna, but
Yep.
only fill half the seats,
Right.
and
Yeah,
everybody
yeah.
moves back one row to leave a space.
Maybe.
I
Or maybe that is the future of sort of live performance, live entertainment is you only sell half your capacity. And then, you do that way you have the other half of your building to space people out.
But does that mean tickets are going to cost double?
No, it
It
just means maybe it could affect ticket price. I'm sure it will affect ticket prices, but it certainly would affect like where people are going to play.
Well, right? You go from,
I'm going to play
and
a
especially with like a comedian
60,000
or something,
seat.
you go from, a comedy club
Yeah,
to theaters, and then you
right.
do like amphitheaters, like, right, you go bigger and bigger, right? So somebody like Bert can sell out a theater,
Yeah,
but he can't necessarily sell out a stadium.
an arena. Yeah, yeah. Okay.
So, but all of
I
a
bet
sudden
though
when you
at
start
this point in
doing,
his career, I bet you he could. An arena like where we're going, like an OHL sized arena, I bet you he could sell that out easily.
yeah, I can't remember when we saw him in Toronto. It wasn't
Yeah,
it was a concert hall,
sure.
so it wasn't huge.
Was it like Massey Hall or something?
I want to say it maybe,
Massey Hall is a great little venue.
yeah,
That's where Kim and I saw Drac Johnson. Weird
but
Al's played Massey Hall.
yeah, and I mean, there's nothing wrong with it. It's got good acoustics.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, but this is the thing is, all of a sudden, or it's this push down effect that if you can't go and do theaters because of
Yeah,
that, or do you just go back and do comedy clubs? So then all of a sudden, if you and I are guys that do comedy
sure.
clubs, and somebody like Bert wants to come back and do comedy clubs, we're just getting bumped.
Maybe.
So
I mean, sure.
yeah,
Yeah, you and I as like Joe Bob nobody.
yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, yeah. You
we're getting
wouldn't have an
bumped.
open mic because all these
We're
people
getting
just want
bumped.
to like stay in LA,
That's right.
and they're not going to travel, but they
No,
want to still perform and make a bit of money or whatever they're doing.
for sure.
And then, there's no open mic for a guy like us to be like, well, no, I'm now, yeah, right. Bert's coming in and Nikki Glazer's coming in and this guy's coming in. And there's like, no, we have like A tier people wanting to come in and
Yeah,
do a
yeah,
show.
yeah, yeah.
But all right.
All right, where are we at
Beer
now?
number
Moving
3,
on to number 3. This one is what is this one?
Volt.
This is from the Signal Brewery,
That is correct. Out of Belleville.
Belleville.
Light notes of citrus and guava keep this dry hopped sour soft, sunny, and easy to session. With all the tart and tangy you showed up for, pours a pastel yellow with a promising pale haze.
Whew. This one's been around for a while. It's got 436 ratings.
And still only a 3.75.
I think that's the thing, like it's easy to have a high score based on like 3 ratings, but
Yeah.
once you start aggregating them over like the hundreds,
Dilutes. Yeah. All of a
for sure
sudden,
it
anyone
does.
that
Yeah, yeah.
rated it a 5.
According to Untapped, this one comes in at 5% ABV. There is no IBU listed for this one. All right. I guess I got to open my can. Here we go.
Yeah. And
All
again,
right.
that's probably the lightest.
Okay, lightest. Although it's 5%, so we've upped now.
Yeah,
Well, mind you,
the
we've
last
upped
one was
from the
5
first
too.
one. Okay, here we go. Well, that ups the tart factor. Wow, the tart factor is up on that one. That's if Daft was a 2, this is a 3. Nope, it's getting more. The second one is worse. Ooh.
I think I had this. We went there for dinner when we did our summer road trip. I think
Okay.
that was my flight for sure.
Yep.
But again, it's only like a wee glass in a flight.
Sure. Yeah. Yeah. It would just be like
Um,
a 2, 3 sippers.
yeah, but that might be the one I don't finish tonight.
Yeah. Well, it's definitely not the one I'm finishing. Wow. I'm starting to sort of think here in my head, like we're 3 into it. We got one more to go. Gotta start thinking about the numerical who's going to
Your
come out on
ratings.
top here. So far, out of 3, number 1 is the easy one. 2 and 3, not so easy.
Yeah.
Oh, oh. No, not a fan.
There's always
Not a
got to
fan.
be. I hate to call them the loser.
Ooh.
There's always got to be a miscongeniality.
Can
It's
there
got a pretty
be?
can.
It's got a pretty can. I'll give you that.
Uh,
It does have the best. It has the best looking can of all of them. It's got the best label. Now, weren't you saying the deal with this place is that everything that they make is radio themed?
Radio themed, communication themed.
Yeah.
Yeah. So Volt. I think they have one called Wavelength.
Sure.
I think they have one called Gamma Ray.
Oh, what do you know?
But yeah. Because we were there and they were telling the story and
Yeah,
had asked if the owner had a background in like radio or something.
sure.
And he's like,
Nope,
"Oh
that's
no,
just my theme.
just about communication
That's
and
my theme.
yeah, chatting and talking and blah blah blah." It says it's funny because I think it was the owner's son, and he's like, "Yeah, my dad went away and he came back, and they'd done a seasonal ale." They're like,
Okay.
"Oh, it's a harvest ale," and he's like,
Yeah.
"You can't call it a harvest ale, don't you? Aren't you following
Our
our
branding,
theme?"
that is not on brand for us.
Yeah, so yeah, it's
That's
like
funny.
goes away, and all of a sudden it's like, oh, but yeah. So I don't think anything's really called what it like a traditional name.
No, we just
It's all got
call it whatever we want for these kids.
yeah. But I mean, Volt, I guess makes sense in a sour because it's like
Yeah, there's a bit of a jolt to it.
yeah. If that's how you kind of think about it.
Yeah.
Whew.
I'm not a fan of that.
You don't have to be a fan. You don't even
I'm
have to
not
like any of them. You just got to be able to say which one you like or
the most,
dislike the least.
the least, disliked the least. Yes, that's true in this case.
Right? We'd because
Uh,
right, somebody might really enjoy that thought process that if Wes doesn't like sours, but he liked this one.
right.
That's maybe if I had to have a sour, that's maybe where I should start.
I don't know. Do you think the big guys are the big companies? Are they playing around with this? Like I know we on the Seltzer
No.
Wars
So
episode.
ideally, I had gone because I'd forgotten that I had. I think I forgot I had the signal
Yeah,
in the beer fridge, and I'd
right.
gone because I was thinking I needed a fourth sour. So I
Sure.
stopped in at the drive-through beer store
Yep.
on Lansdowne, went in, and I found one sour.
One.
Now
Oh
again,
boy.
if I'd gone to the liquor store, they do a little bit more craft beer. And I mean, to me, that the drive-through one on Lansdowne has a lot of singles,
Yeah.
um, but a lot of it's their single cans are IP, a lot of IPAs. Again, I was shocked at the amount of Rattlers and
Rattlers. Oh yeah.
the Vizzies
Yeah.
were there, which I didn't think. I thought they would be a liquor store exclusive.
Oh, I never even thought about that.
No, because the Vizzies were. I thought they were a liquor based seltzer
As did
because
I.
they were the ones Michelle liked, unless they're making a hop based one as well.
Maybe.
Um, there was a ton, like Coors Seltzer was. They had several of them in there.
Yeah.
So I mean, even when you go to the beer store, the amount of stuff that isn't a traditional beer that's encroaching on your selection
Right.
is. But I mean, right? They still have Paps, and they've got all your Coors, and got
Ooh,
your
PBR. Woo!
yeah, right, and MGDs, and all
Right
that's
next to
still
you.
there. But
Right next to your
uh,
50.
I think it's still that, and we talked about this on a previous episode, that I think for your craft breweries, the idea of an IPA
Yeah.
is so prevalent.
Everybody's got one.
Yeah, now was it the fact that they brewed faster, or was that one of the other beers that brewed faster?
Yeah, it was well, ales in general,
Ales.
because the turnover is just quicker.
Yeah,
It's
less
so much
time
quicker. Yeah.
in the tank, right? So then you
Yep.
can put
Yep.
something else there.
Yeah. And I mean, God, everything we're doing here tonight, I guess they're man, are they ales? No, they're just oh, maybe they are. I don't know where they fall. I know they're sours, but I don't know where they fall into in
In the
terms of
whole
like
thing. Maybe
yeah, yeah, yeah.
sours are sours
Maybe they're just their own thing. They don't
thing.
they don't really compare.
I
But yeah,
was
so to go back to what I was saying before, like the big guys. I mean, I don't recall any of the big guys having a sour. I mean, is it popular enough that they're going to get on board, or just it's too niche for them?
I think it's niche.
Sure.
I think it's, unless that's your thing, and like, right, that's what you're known for, and you have people coming in and looking for that or wanting that.
Like
Uh,
all of
yeah,
these have their place, and like the joke about pairing them with food, that's true. Pair them with something that you're going to eat, but to go out with the guys or to go to your buddy's house and sit down and like we're going to pound 5 or 6 beers tonight. None of these would make my list. None of them.
no, and we've said that from day one on
Yep.
so many of them, is
Yeah.
you're looking for that crushability, or that, I can sit down and have 4 in an afternoon by the
Right.
lake or by the pool.
Yep.
So many of these that we've drank
Yeah.
don't
Don't
fit the
match
bill.
that.
Well,
Yeah.
let's talk about your
Don't fit
Christmas
the
party.
criteria. My Christmas party. Oh,
Yeah,
sure. We can do that. Sure.
right.
What do you
So,
want to, what would you like to, about the party?
just right, I brought 3 IPAs,
Oh my God.
and,
Is this the part
it
where we get to talk about how you didn't, when you stopped to wonder why you were as drunk as you were?
yeah, and I'm like, so brought 3 beers, tall
Yeah.
boys,
Yes.
and, proceeded to have them. Had a couple of shots. Uh,
We might have had some Christmas shots.
I might, maybe let's
Uh,
say 3. So 3 shots, 3 beers, which is
well, I
not
mean, if you took every shot that Kim put in your hand, then you had at least one of the caramel
one,
whiskey,
um,
the
one Crown
Goldschlager.
Royal,
Yep,
1
Goldschlager.
Goldschlager, and I don't think I had the peppermint.
The peppermint vodka.
I don't think so. So I had 2 shots of, Crown for sure,
Yeah,
one of the, Goldschlager,
they were all good, by the way.
and, sure.
I don't have to like sours. You don't have to like shots.
No, I mean, right? They all were very cold. They all went down very nicely.
Yes, they did. Yeah.
Um, it's funny though, we had Goldschlager the other night, and it was not nearly as good as the night.
No, room
Wasn't as
temperature
cold.
Goldschlager
No, it
does
wasn't as
not
cold.
have the same like. Hmm.
But, yeah, 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 and I forget I sent you the picture, like, a day and a half later of where my alcohol levels were, and
Yeah.
they were over the top, like,
Well, it was funny when you're like when you came up and you're like, it's only like 5% or whatever it was that you said, and then you grabbed the can and you did the like the double take, and you're like 6.2. Oh
yeah,
shit.
yeah, 6.2, 6.1, and there might have been an 8%, and I'm like, "Oh,
No
that's why."
wonder.
Yeah, and, yeah, it ended horribly at 3 AM.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
But this is right, but they were all IPAs, and I like IPAs, and they all tasted pretty good.
Yeah.
But yeah, but maybe that's, and everyone was different. I brought 3 different ones. And maybe that was my mistake. I should have stuck with one beer the whole night. Not
Maybe.
mixed. I don't know. Or
You're rolling the dice every time you do. And I mean, I'm just as guilty as you are because, we'll get together with with the girls and it'll be like,
we had
you
beers of the world one night.
sure bring over a bag of goodies and like, what's in the bag tonight? Well, I've got one of these and one of these and a bottle of this and a bottle of that. And we'll just see where the night takes me.
Right.
And,
Yeah. And
yeah,
it's like, oh, we've had, 5 beers from 5 countries. I mean, that was
yep.
a good night.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Just, oh, which
International
ones,
beer.
where's this from? But they all seem to go together.
Yeah.
So then you're not. But yeah, it's funny. Like, I would tell you that was probably the first time in a long time I had not done well.
After.
That my wife had to come and check on me.
Well, did you participate or partake in the moose milk this year?
No,
Oh,
I'd
see,
already, because it was eggnog, and I'm not
well,
a nog,
there was nog in it, yes.
and I'm not a huge. I think I had like a sip just to say I'd had a sip, but I did not. And that's what Michelle had thought. She's like, "Well, you shouldn't have drank this and that," and I'm like, "I had none of that. I had
For
none of that."
I just want it for the sake of our audience. I just want to touch on the moose milk here for a second because this is like this beverage is essentially it's a variation on rum and eggnog essentially, but it's this legendary. It has legendary status amongst my former peer group in the military, where it was traditionally served at the holiday times, and it's served on the ships, or we used to be served on the ships when there were visiting dignitaries, and so like it's this variation. You know there's rum, sometimes there's whiskey, sometimes there's other liquors in it, but it's usually milk and or eggnog and or ice cream, and it's this creamy,
I'm gonna let you
frothy.
keep talking about this, and I'm gonna just excuse myself for a minute.
Uh-oh. Okay. Creamy, frothy concoction that is guaranteed to please. It's very, very boozy. So this year, normally I make it with ice cream, and that usually goes over quite well. But this year I thought, I wasn't going to use the ice cream this year because we thought, what about getting that cinnamon flavor into it? And because some of the recipes call for grating fresh like cinnamon sticks. You can either put a stick in your cup and you can use it as a swirl, or you can grate fresh cinnamon into the drink. But we had discovered, actually through you, Scott, we had discovered rum chata a couple of years ago, and of course there's cinnamon in rum chata. So rather than go with the ice cream, we put in rum chata as well. So this year's recipe had, and we're talking bottles, had a Mickey bottle, or that's what is it? A small. I don't even know the milliliter count on a Mickey, but Mickey sized bottle of rum. We had a 26er of spiced rum. We had a 26er of Bailey's Irish Cream, a 26er of Kahlua, and a 26er of rum chata. And then we topped it off with
a lot of booze in it.
Yeah, with rum and sorry, not rum, but with eggnog and milk. And it was lovely. It was fantastic. I loved it. So yeah, but you did not partake this year.
Just I thought, 3 beers in, and it's like, why?
You're
Why
probably
would
safer
I
not to.
start?
And other
Because I
than
think the year previous, I think that's all I drank.
well, so that's all I drank. Well, sorry, I did drink the shots that Kim put in my hand, but I also drank exclusively the moose milk this year. That was just wonderful.
Well, how do you not? You make a ton of it.
Well, it's expensive to make, but again, like you say, for the Christmas party, and this is the thing, it is a Christmas party. So you know what? That is my Christmas gift to everybody. It is. It's my
My
Christmas
gift
gift
from me
to
to you.
everybody. No, to everybody who shows up. Participate of the moose milk if you so choose. You're not required to, but that is my gift to you because as I said before, the ingredient list, it's not measured in ounces, it's measured in bottles. And you can't put it back in the bottle once you've mixed it.
Once
So
you've started.
That's right. So you either drink it or what's left over gets thrown away. And granted, we did throw away some that got thrown away this year. Other years we've
You've been
drank it all.
scraping the bottom of
Yeah.
oh,
Yeah. When our friend
when you
Mark,
can see the vanilla bean.
well, there we go. So when our friend Mark, he tips his cup back and he can see, what's this black crap in the bottom of my cup? He was freaking out. I'm like, it's the ground vanilla bean from the ice cream. Oh, okay. So yeah, that was the Christmas party.
But yeah. But yeah, it's totally, as I say, it depends on where you're at. Where
Yeah.
if you were just drinking Coors Light,
Oh,
and I know people that just love
they do love
Coors
their
Light. Go home
gotta
every
have
night.
some Blue Mountains.
Yeah,
If the
and it's
mountains are blue, it's
cold, and
cold.
they crack 2 or 3 every night
Yep.
at what is it, 3.5, 4%?
4.5, or whatever. Yeah. Four,
And
four
they're
and a
like,
half.
yeah. You go over, you're like, oh, you want a Coors Light? And you're like, sure. And you know what? It's
Well,
easy to drink.
it falls into the categories of things I like, cold and free.
Yeah.
I wouldn't buy it, but
No,
if it's offered to me, I'm not going to say no.
that's right. It's like, right. Do you keep it in your beer fridge for, as you say,
Company.
some of these beers definitely aren't as, they're not as cheap or economical as the big brand. You're not buying
they're not.
any
Yeah.
of them in a case of 24. You're buying them in 6 packs, maybe 12, maybe singles.
Sure.
But I mean, those DAFs, they were expensive.
Well, I mean, look at the size of the bottle, man.
Yep. By volume.
It's a what is this? This is it's 650 milliliters. So I mean, it's almost as big as a 26-ounce bottle of booze.
Yep. But yeah. Definitely, it's I was joking. I was saying this is not at the start, right? Usually we're sharing a tall boy on each sample.
No, yeah, we'll split one.
Yeah. Where this is not happened.
No.
But okay. So
that brings us to beer number 4.
Beer number 4.
Lake on the Mountain Brewing Company, Lake Monster Sour. Lake Monster Sour. Now, what do we got here? This one.
It smells sour.
Would it
Very similar.
If I told
Very
you
similar to what the Volt smelled like.
Yeah, I'll agree with that. This one smells like some of the double IPAs that I've had. Right. Crisp and juicy with a slight puckering tartness from the kettle souring. Lots of tropical fruit flavors and a nice dry finish.
There you go.
245 ratings. This one actually has, I hate to say it, this one's got the worst rating of all of them.
3.52.
3.52. Comes in at 5.1% ABV. Has an IBU of 50. 50. All right. Bottoms up. Oh, dear Lord. Oh, my Lord. I don't want to say that knowing that it was a 3.5 influenced my experience.
But maybe it did. It's an interesting way of looking at it. Before it touches your lips,
I know it's the lowest rated beer of the 4 that
we didn't drink a 5 tonight.
No, we did not. But I would say that as objectively as I can,
it is dry.
It is the worst. It is the worst of all 4 of them. And that is all I need to know about that.
And that is the darker.
Is it the darkest one? Well? Yeah. It's terrible.
Terrible?
Well, to my palate, it is. Now, to somebody who likes a sour beer, your mileage will vary. But for me, remember,
if you got this so you got this with dinner and you're drinking it, would you not finish it?
If you you know me though, and I would finish it out of principle.
Right. because you
So that's oh
like
you, you
I can remember once we were at the Cow
okay.
and ordered something from Muskoka Breweries,
Yeah.
and we got into this discussion with our server um, whether the beer was bad,
Like
and
actually
it's like,
bad.
you know, have they not cleaned out their lines? Had they,
Oh,
you
that's
know, was it
fair
the
though.
end of the keg?
Yeah.
You know, was it fouled or something just
Oh,
bad?
yeah, yeah.
And I think we'd ordered a pitcher. I think there was three of us there. We poured one right, and I think a pitcher is going to give you six beer.
Yeah, 4 to 6
And
depending on
yeah, how yeah.
yeah.
Um, so we poured three and didn't finish any of them, and we didn't finish the pitcher. And girl, like, right, very apologetic. She's
Sorry you
like,
didn't like it. Sorry you didn't
yeah,
finish
and
it.
didn't have the ability to comp it. She's like, but she said, if the owner had been there or the manager had been
They
there,
might have.
I could have, because it's strange that three people
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
all had the we're like, we'll pour you we'll pour you a
If
beer.
you could drink with us on the job, you would see.
Yeah. Um,
Oh, that's funny.
but yeah,
All right.
but
So
I tell you is probably
here's how I'm going to do this now. I'm going to start arranging my flight here in front of me in the order that I would not recommend them. All right, I've played the shell game here in front of me with my four flavors, and I'm gonna lock it in, locking in my choices.
locked in. Are you sure that's your final answer? But yeah, it'd be interesting too. I mean, right as you're watching this episode, if you're watching the video, make a comment below
Yeah,
if you like sours.
yeah, especially if you're a fan of any of the four that we've tried here on the show. Want to hear your opinion, and you can tell us how wrong we are.
Right.
We'll tell you that we're not, but we'll still hear you out
I mean,
anyway.
or was there something we should have drank
Yeah,
that
really. Yeah,
yeah, that would have been unquestionably the champion of
of the
cold ones
sours. Yeah,
if it
yeah,
had
yeah.
been one that we had drank before.
All right. What are we gonna do? We can start at number 4.
Always number 4.
Okay, number 4. I'm tell you what I'm gonna do. I'm going to do it secretly. I'm going to go over here into the so part of our platform here. I'm going to go into the banner. No, you'll see my banner. If I was going to say you could do it secretly. You could put up your own banner, but that's not going to work. I won't do that. Okay, number 4. It's Lake Monster. It is the worst of the worst.
Mine as well.
Okay. Now
My
we get
least
into
favorite.
the.
I can't even say it. Didn't enjoy the aftertaste, the before taste, the smell. It just didn't hit on any
No,
level.
it's the strongest of them all, and it's reflected in the taste. It's definitely there. It is a strong beer, so maybe that's if you like fortified beers, maybe you would like that. But no, it's not for me.
5.1. We're not going to say 5.1 is fortified.
Oh, maybe not fortified, but it's stronger.
Sure.
It's that 10 that I gotta look that up again because I always struggle with that
The IBU.
the IBU and IBU rating. Like, what the hell does it mean? The IBU scale simply measures the amount of the chemicals in a beer that make it taste bitter. Well, there you go. Makes sense. Now, that being said, IBUs are generally indicative of how bitter a beer will taste. Generally speaking, the more IBUs, the more bitter it will taste. Well,
But there's bitter and there's sour because, like, right, most IPAs are bitter.
Well, let me put it this way: we went in the order that we drank them. We went from a 7 to a 10 to a not listed to a 50.
There you go.
Oh. Okay, so number 4, we both agree, Lake Monster. It was not something you would want to repeat. Number 3. Ready for number 3?
Sure.
Number 3 for me. Oh, number 3 was the Fenland Falls Brewing Company with their passion fruit guava ghosts.
Huh.
That was my number
Mine
3.
was Volt.
Volt. You went with the Volt, did you? Well, interesting because Volt was actually my number 2.
Fenland was
your number 2. All right, and so that brings us to the champion of this edition, which we unanimously agree is Daft. The Daft lemon tea sour.
And I think, you know what, part of it, and I think that's why Fenland was my number 2, is because it, as far as the passion fruit went, it had the closest flavor I was expecting the beer to taste like.
Sure.
And then when you got to this one, to me, the lemon tea is there.
I'm not going to lie, to my way of thinking, with the exception of maybe some of the fruit choices, and even then, to me, they all taste like the other 3, and arguably even Daft as well. They all are reminiscent of an IPA. Like they just have that real citrusy, but the bitterness is just through the roof on them. So yeah,
as I say, it's
congratulations, champ. Let's have another.
Makes it finishable, maybe.
Still has that laundry water kind of thing going for it.
I just want to know, like, in between Perm Solution and laundry water, what do you drink?
Okay, that's a fair question.
Yeah, it's like, oh, speaking of laundry water, I drained our washing machine has that little the tube,
yep,
and then the filter. I cleaned that
over
the holidays.
Yes.
Ooh. And I would tell you, this is better than laundry water. The distinct smell and the amount of sludge I had to take out of that filter. This is much better than that.
Do you regret not hiring a professional?
Why would I need a professional to
Does your nose regret hiring a professional?
My nose can handle it. Now, speaking of a professional, I am now pissing upstairs in my upstairs bathroom.
Oh, yes, because yes,
it was time for the final toilet in the Elder household that's 24 years old to be replaced. Maybe that's a little aggressive. Maybe 22 years. But
it's the first toilet that was in that room when the house was built.
So that bathroom got that toilet. It's just time for it to change, and the porcelain was getting, showing its age and stuff. So I've changed all the other toilets, installed toilets. It's very much, as long as they hit those closet bolts, you're fine. So take it out.
Who would have thought the design of a toilet had changed that much in 24 years?
Yeah. So Michelle's got this inkling that she likes a one-piece toilet,
not a toilet with a separate tank.
The bowl and the tank is one piece,
one unit.
So there's no line, where the tank sits on the bowl. And she's a firm believer in living with men. That's where we piss, and you got to clean it.
She wouldn't be wrong.
No. So a one-piece toilet, there's just less to. It's easier to clean. And
of course it is.
I'm like, man, I just didn't think we all missed the bowl that much.
Until you hauled the tank off and went, holy.
It wasn't too bad. But like anything, like anytime you touch a toilet, you're like, and I mean, I would tell you, there's a whole demographic of people that don't piss in the toilet. from work. Oh my God, the amount of piss
On the
that's
floor.
behind the seat, in
On
the
the oh
seats,
yeah. Yeah, yeah.
on like I'm like, how are you in such dire need when you went to start that you couldn't control the stream? It just is everywhere. Or is it
Yeah,
like
yeah.
I'm gonna show those shitty people at Mark's what I think about them. I'm gonna piss all over their toilet seat. And you're like, oh, showed me. But so anyway, I lift the toilet off and get a new wax seal, get the new one, and I go to set it down,
Sure.
and it's the tank's touching the wall, and I'm like, I've lost
Now
an
what do I do?
inch.
An inch.
I'm like,
Funny how an inch doesn't feel like a whole lot until you're doing something like
yeah,
highly
yeah, yeah, and
technical.
I kind of do. I get it down, and I do a test flush, and then right, no one's done any business in the toilet.
Nope.
And I kind of leave it there, and I'm like, oh. And then get up the next morning, and there's just a little bit of water seeping out at the floor, and I'm like, so right, shut off. I disconnect it, and I'm like, okay, it's not sitting flush to the floor,
Right, right,
and
right.
I measure it out, and somebody's put the ABS at 11 inches, and in googling, the standard is a 12-inch on center. So
Oh
I am
boy.
literally an inch too close to the wall.
Right.
I'm like, I don't know what to do.
So then you kind of go back into the memory banks and you go, what was the code when the house was built? Could they have maybe was
Yeah,
11
I don't
okay then?
know.
Like,
And I mean, so long ago, I can't complain either because Michelle's uncle, who was a plumber at the time,
yeah.
did the plumbing. I'm sure we got a deal on it. Um, and he's retired now and sold the business.
Is this the part where I get to say you get what you pay for?
No, 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 no. It's not like I'm going to
The
call
family
up,
discount.
right? Call him up and be like, "Hey,
Hey,
remember that
remember 20
toilet
some
you
odd years ago? You
all
fucked it up.
22 years ago?"
Uh,
So
oh, that's funny.
Georgia was kind enough. They have a couple plumbers that they recommend from the hardware store,
Right.
and gave him a call. He's like, "I can come over like right away." And of course, I hemmed and hawed, and I just couldn't wrap my head around what I was going to do and whether I was going to call a plumber. And I put out some feelers for advice,
Sure.
and whether it was, just something I could fix with silicone. Um, and he comes and, made it look simple, put an offset on, but right, it required some chiseling of the old ABS out and some,
Right, right.
it was a while kind of adjusting it, and some of the floor had to be kind of removed, and, just make a little like, right, you need a 1/4 inch to make an inch. But thank God he got it fixed, because I think the week before, you've heard this story,
Yep.
that because we haven't been able to use the upstairs bathroom, we've been going to the main floor bathroom. And
Okay.
one night I'm going down the stairs and miscount or misjudge where I'm at. And my foot goes down like I'm on the last step and it's going to hit the floor, and it hit air. And I just lay out flat, knock some
Oh.
boxes over, laying on the floor at 3 a.m. I'm like, whoo.
Oops.
Wake up Georgia. Hear her open the door.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Thank God I've got underwear on. And she's like, "Are you okay?" I'm like, "I'm fine. Go back to bed." And pick myself up and get myself to the bathroom. And then it's like, I need to call the plumber.
Oh yeah.
Oh,
But you got it all sorted out.
yeah, yeah,
And
yeah. It's good.
well, that's great.
It takes all the things I needed to take and makes them go away.
And it
But
lets you not have to risk your life to go to the bathroom coming down the stairs.
comes with age. It's like, man, who? I was sure I was on the bottom step.
That's funny. Oh, I'm
I
so sorry.
even demonstrated it to you on New Year's Eve. I'm like, I swear I thought it was here, and I could have been on this step, or I could have been on that step. Look how far I fell.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Oh, but yeah. So now here's the interesting thing. What's your prediction for the round of champions?
Ooh, now you're asking me to go back really, really far in the memory banks. Well, it's not going to be this guy. It certainly is not going to be this, although, it's the lesser of the four evils that we were presented with tonight. As I said before, my biases lie in the Pilsner lager
Right.
range. So, if I go
Which I
back
don't think
into
any of the ones we've actually had have fallen into either of those categories.
uh, the uh, the cervezas, I think, are lagers or
Okay.
lagers, Pilsners. Oh, now I don't know. Oh. Anyway, it's probably going to be something that was lighter. There was some that I really liked. Like I did like that dark one, that Prince of Darkness. That was a good
Right.
one. I don't. Was that a champion though?
It
Was it?
was.
It was. It was like the first champion, wasn't it?
Yep.
Yeah. Okay. So maybe
And I think it won because again, it was
lesser of the
interesting
evils.
that night. The stuff we had was like there's just a couple that were like, I just don't like it.
Yeah. 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 So that or a lot of the summer stuff that we drank, like any of the almost any of the cervezas were they were okay. And I think in that regard, if you didn't have four that you had to taste, you could pick any one of them,
And
and
put
you
it
could
against
sure,
any of those would have been better than a sour.
yeah, and even maybe the Flying Monkey, the IPA that we had from Flying Monkey, I think that
Yep.
was okay too.
It was top
So
notch.
yeah,
You
yeah,
bought
yeah.
it after the fact too.
I certainly went looking for it. I don't know if
Was
I
it hard
found
to
it or not.
find?
It was because I was I was in the grocery store.
I thought you got it one night there.
Maybe I did. It was a while ago. I have one or two cans. I don't remember, to be honest. Yeah, but yeah. So yeah, I'm a little all over the place about what I don't have a strong feeling for any one of them. Although, yeah, it's probably going to be one of the. It's probably going to be the Cerveza winner, whoever that was. I don't remember.
I thought
Do you
that
remember
was
who that
Chihuahua.
was? Was it Chihuahua?
I thought it was Chihuahua.
That may in fact be the winner. By the time we get to it, that's going to be an interesting one, though. Like you say, getting to the round of champions where everything is so different. Because now we're not.
There's no comparing, an apple to an apple. It's now
Yeah,
you've
yeah,
got
yeah,
the full fruit salad,
yeah.
and you're
Exactly,
like you're
exactly.
picking. Now you're biased
Oh
because
yeah,
you're like, oh, I like this.
yeah, 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 yeah.
So
Well, take that for what it's worth. And I guess, give a shout out here to untapped.com for providing us with all of the ratings and some of the information that we pulled from tonight. A great resource. You can download their app and you can send your own beer reviews directly to them with the number that is provided. All right, my friend. I want to say a big congratulations to our tonight's winner, Daft Lemon Tree Sour. We'll be back. Well, I don't know when we're going to be back. It's going to be a while, but we'll be back again with not only another round of cold ones, but we will be back with more stupid anecdotes
oh, you
and
know what we need to
yeah.
talk about?
Wait, what do we need to talk about?
February is coming up.
Dude, are we doing that again?
I don't know. I just
Producer Andy's going to get a hold of this and he's going to say, "Of course you're doing the lifestyle challenge."
right. I was gonna say, do we just pick something easy? Just maybe like steps or
Steps.
I
Oh
was thinking
boy.
about it today as I was sort of like, oh, I have to bring that up. I don't think I want to go vegetarian again.
Well, we did that, and as much as I would commit to doing that again, I did not stick with it.
Nope.
I did not stick with it, and I think I knew going into it or at the start of yes, this is the answer. We're vegetarian for 30 days. I
But
think
you know
I
what I had
knew
for dinner tonight?
you had some
Tofu stir fry.
tofu stir fry. You do like it though.
You know what? And I finally figured out how to make it crispy.
Yep.
So I
Yep.
gave it a good soak in my. I added an egg into
Yes.
my. Almost made it into a wash.
I guess
And
that's technically vegetarian. It's not
sure,
vegan.
ovo,
No, ovo-lacto.
yeah,
Yeah, ovo-lacto. Okay.
didn't have a face.
It did not have a face. That's right. Didn't have a beak
Not yet.
or legs.
Yeah, so did it, added an egg to get it a little stickier. So, right,
Yeah, yeah.
cut the tofu up, soaked it, and then I did traditionally I've tried just like a cornstarch, but I
Oh,
did a
yeah.
cornstarch and a breadcrumb.
Okay.
Rolled it in that, put it into the pan with a little more oil than I traditionally used, and it
Yeah,
crisped
so
up.
you're getting a little bit more of a deep fry to it.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
And you know me
So
and deep fried.
isn't that I was gonna say, isn't that the truth though? Fucking deep fry it. Anything tastes better you deep
Yeah.
fry it.
And right, I think I used whatever extra virgin olive oil. So it's not like I
Sure.
used lard. And it was good.
You mean you
Lot
didn't
and
fry it in bacon grease?
that was a good night. But yeah, it was much more similar to that. I mean, but the thing is with the oil, right? It definitely the kitchen it gets that
The
film on it.
smokiness. Yeah, oh yeah, it does. It
Top of the
does.
stove was got splatters, and I'm like,
Man, I feel it every time I cook with anything I do fry on a stovetop in our house is just it's a crapshoot every time because of the way that the stove is positioned. It's not on an exterior wall, which means any venting is right back into the room.
yep. And I actually thought, I said this would be where an air fryer would have been ideal. But
We have an air fryer. We don't use it nearly as much as maybe we should.
but then I thought, to me that when you look at people and the size of the basket, I'm like, man, I did 2 full blocks of tofu.
You wouldn't be doing it
I would have been
in the
like
air
going
fryer.
needless to say, I did like 3 rounds in the frying pan to get it all in and
The air
browned
fryer
up.
we got, and we have a pretty decent one. We bought we got one from we get the Pampered Chef model, and it's about the size of a relatively small bread maker. But like you say, by the time you get the basket out of it, you look at it, you're like anything you put in it, it's like generously speaking, like we're pretty robust dudes when it comes to appetites. So I mean, like if you were to do French fries in it, you and I would be like, "Is there any more fries?" Like
Right.
by the time you're done, yeah,
Let's do another round
yeah,
just
yeah,
so
yeah, yeah,
right, I can
exactly. Starve
scratch
off
that itch
the
I have for
munchies.
fries.
Yeah, yeah, exactly.
But yeah. You have to think about the challenge and maybe a few other things or
Man, as soon as you start opening it up to, because I mean, we put it out to to the audience, and we kind of asked them for help last year. Like, how far do you go with that? Do you put it back to the audience and say, "Listen, like, we need your suggestions," or because we have
no,
the
I think we
clock is
just take some
ticking?
for ourselves this time. I don't think you put it up to them and just be like, you know what, we're doing you do steps, so you do like I'd be super interested in the like snacks. Like
Oh yeah, yeah.
no
No
like
Pepsi for
no
you.
hardcore, no chips, no candy bars, no like I
You
don't know
just
how do you get
you
rid of
just
like
killed me.
say refined sugar?
Oh,
But you know what I mean? Like to get rid of like no jubes, no like
no candy,
yeah,
no candy, no chips.
no candy, no chips.
I hate you.
To me,
I could
I
drop
think that makes
candy,
us
but you've taken chips away from me. Oh, I'd be angry.
I eat more chips than I do candy, but I mean, being the holidays, oh, I had some great we got this like peppermint bark. Oh, it was delicious.
No, sure it was.
I'm
Of
like,
course it
oh,
is.
and right, ate a box. And then somebody got me what's the one with the hazelnuts?
Oh,
Uh
like peanut brittle?
Rocher. Rocher?
Oh, Ferrero Rocher.
Yeah, Ferrero
Yeah,
Rocher got me
Ferrero
those.
Rocher.
Like,
The
I've
gold
only eaten
foil.
I've only eaten 5 out of the box because I just take one
Yep.
and then I like let it melt.
Oh, yeah, yeah. And then you've got all the nut
Yeah,
fragments in your mouth.
the toffee. I got toffee Fay. those did not last very long.
So
I just like
for us, we don't get a lot of them. Sometimes we get a couple of them, but Lindor chocolates. Ooh.
I got some of them. Michelle
Oh.
bought another box. They were just sitting out on the on the table, like, oh, if you'd like one, they're sitting here. And I'm like,
Well, there was
what?
still some. There was still some there at New Year's because I know I had at least one out of the
Right.
tray on
I
the
don't think
table.
there's any more now.
No, that's fair.
But yeah, we'll have to think long and hard about that. And like, right, it's this whole thing is, well, then what do you have? Like, do you just start eating crackers? And
Cheese
you're
and
like,
crackers, man.
oh, these crackers are like
They're the
those
closest thing to
the
cookies I
pretzel
can
crackers,
find. The
the
LeBretons.
fireside pretzel crackers. And I'm like, is that cheating? Because it
What if
tastes,
it's is it an arrowroot? Is it a digestive? What does that count?
yeah. But I'd say no cookies either.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah.
you could have crackers and dip or crackers and cheese,
Sure.
or you could have like veggies or fruit.
Yeah.
Um, Obviously, you could have like a pepperette as a snack.
Well, I got
But
to tell you, I mean, you're hamstringing me here because you got to remember, short of a government shutdown, the first week of February, I'm going to be in another country.
well, don't have to do it February.
Oh,
I
man.
wouldn't judge you.
I just want to get it over with.
Yeah, oh, well, you could start. Listen, you could start a week early, have a week
Oh, and
off,
have a break. No, that's no way.
and then get right back into it.
There's no way that's happening because
As long as your feet are in Canadian soil, it applies. And as soon
if
as
I'm
they're
breaking
not,
the cycle, it's broken. You can't take the reins off and then say, "Oh no," but now you got to slow it down again.
yeah, it's
No,
okay.
that ain't happening.
But you're not going to have chips and candy bars on vacation.
Oh, the hell I am.
What?
Whatever is available, I'm having it.
But how many times do you see candy bars at an all-inclusive resort?
I will say this: we've gone on vacation together. You know how many times I've walked into the gift shop and I bought a sleeve of Pringles? I do love Pringles.
You know what? I've seen you do it at the airport.
Yep.
I guess I'm not watching you close enough. I didn't know
Yeah.
you were doing that.
Sure. At the gift shop, we got to go get some chips. Go down to the gift shop, get a sleeve of Pringles.
$10 Pringles.
Sure, $3-4 Pringles for that tiny little sleeve that's about 2 inches tall. Take that back to the room and have a little chippy chip snack while I'm
didn't
laying
know
in
you
bed
did
watching
that.
TV. Oh yeah. Yeah. I love chips. That's the thing. That's how much I love chips, right? Like vacation does not mean I'm not going to have chips. If there's chips available, I'm having chips. Chip,
There you go.
chips.
I need chips.
I do.
All right. Well, you go back to Kim and you ask her what she thinks.
Oh boy.
And then we don't have to do
Yeah, and you go back and you go back to Michelle and you see what she tells you.
She won't participate this year.
She
That
won't
would be her
even
answer.
give you
She'd be
a
like,
suggestion.
She'd be like, "Fuck you."
She doesn't have to participate, but you don't even think she would give you a
Oh, she'll give me feedback. But
Oh,
right,
okay.
but she gave me feedback too that she's, she thought being a vegetarian in the middle of the winter was a stupid choice. Because right, she's like, great, you picked a great month for fresh produce.
Yeah, that's so true,
like,
right? In the dead of winter.
Yep. But you know what? She was a champ, and both girls, I think
They were, yeah.
they were on board, and I think they ate everything I ate because I was cooking, and again, no complaints from Michelle. But I think if I told her that we weren't having, she's a big fan of a bag of chips.
Me too.
And right, not necessarily a whole bag of chips, but
I may end the show and go and have some like here in the next couple minutes.
right, you can figure out which ones taste good with sour.
That's right. Yeah. No.
Oh, could you imagine like salt and vinegar
Oh,
on top of?
I'm salivating just as you say that. Like,
Yeah. I don't like salt and vinegar, but I think it would be a very interesting on top of.
yeah.
Usually I gotta have a drink to get rid of the vinegar in my mouth,
Yeah.
and then just have it replaced with
I need a palate cleanser.
Yeah. Anyway, all right, awesome. It was good seeing you tonight. And
You too, dude.
There you go. We've got all our cold ones done.
We've definitely got enough here now to have a real round of champions. So we'll be looking to put that together in an upcoming show. Not sure when that's going to roll out, but there'll be more of us coming back here in the barbershop. Hope you want to come and hang out with us and spend an hour or so of your time as we talk about nothing like we do here.
I love nothing. It's my
All
favorite
right, dude.
thing.
All right. Well, until the next time, I guess that's it for me. And we'll see you next time, guys.
All right. I'll talk to you next time. Take
All
it
right,
easy,
brother.
buddy.
Bye for now. Hey, thanks for hanging with us at the barbershop. You can find us on all your favorite podcasting platforms. Please like and share us on Facebook, and follow us on Instagram and Twitter to stay up to date on all of our shenanigans. Hanging at the Barbershop is a Sawcast production.